The media is trying to hide something from you. The Washington Examiner last week came out with a pretty inflammatory charge sheet against the Kamala Harris campaign, accusing her of spending millions of dollars of donated campaign funds to buy off celebrity endorsements. Remember, this is all alleged and we cannot independently confirm any of this, but this report led me down a rabbit hole that uncovered many more things that the Democrat campaign would rather keep a secret forever. So here's what happened. If you rewind the clock to a couple months before the election, the Democrat campaign was starved of star power and public enthusiasm, especially after Joe Biden's disastrous debate and dropping out of the race. But as the party has always done, they gave another shot to the failed strategy of riding on the coattails of Hollywood. That's when people like Eminem, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Bryan Cranston, and Oprah Winfrey came out almost in unison to attend Kamala Harris rallies and announce their endorsements. But if it turns out that they were paid for that endorsement, as the report alleges, that could end up being a severe violation of campaign law and just moral ethics around the campaign funds. Now, granted, Washington Examiner is a right-leaning publication, but there are some unconfirmed figures floating around that the campaign paid $10 million to Beyonce, $5 million to Megan Thee Stallion, $3 million to Lizzo, nearly $2 million to Eminem, and another $1 million to Oprah. Even the one podcast that Kamala Harris did with Call Her Daddy was allegedly arranged for $100,000. Oprah was actually ambushed by a TMZ reporter about this, and she outright denied any such payment being made.
Oh, is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Not true, okay.
I was paid nothing, ever.
Well, here's the catch. Oprah Winfrey seems to have omitted a critical truth in that answer, which is that even the FEC filings, which are available on their website openly, clearly state that $1 million were paid, not to Oprah Winfrey directly, but to her production company Harpo Production. And this is what gives you a clue into how those alleged payments might have been made as well, because this $1 million to Harpo Productions was made for a lengthy town hall that Kamala Harris did with Oprah. But there's no way that a set or an arrangement like that for a simple town hall cost $1 million. And just to jog your memory, here's how useless that entire $1 million spent turned out to be, with Kamala giving the most frustratingly evasive response on the most important questions.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that.
But that's just scratching the surface, because there's many more things coming out that could spell trouble for the Democrats in the coming months, at least in the eyes of the voter and party donors. For one, the Kamala Harris campaign spent over $1 billion in their entire campaign, which is a staggering amount. For comparison, the Trump campaign spent around $350 million, and now there's word coming out that the Democrat campaign and the DNC find themselves in debt of over $20 million, with creditors knocking on their door to get their payments for all the travel, ad spend, and media appearances they did. Maybe celebrity endorsements were a part of those purchases, even though these are technically allegations at the moment. But perhaps the example of Oprah Winfrey subtly lying by omission about the money paid to her production company is a common template for other star endorsements as well. How do you distinguish between paying someone like Megan Thee Stallion or Beyonce for their musical performances at the rally versus buying out their endorsement? Well, it's quite possible that these payments are made using the cover of genuinely paying them for a performance at a political rally, but they are also often so exorbitant that a subtle message or request could be sent out to them to also offer an endorsement at the rally. And now this news is so big that even Joe Rogan couldn't help but poke fun of the Democrats for this desperate attempt at relevance with the public that eventually failed at the ballot box.
I just think there's honest money and then there's dishonest money. And I've never had the stomach for...
You mean like the money they paid the people to endorse Kamala Harris?
Oh yeah, that's pretty dishonest money right there.
So
Cardi
wild.
B, Beyonce.
Did you know that was even legal?
Fools.
Did you know that was even legal?
It shouldn't be legal. Let me ask you, on air for this podcast, how much money did Donald Trump give you to endorse him?
$100 million.
No, he didn't.
He gave me nothing.
Gave you zero, Joe.
Gave me nothing.
He gave you zero because you thought, I think that this is what's best for the country, given the two options.
I knew the resistance that it would face, but
how
I
much
think
did
it's
Beyonce
true.
get?
She got $10 million.
$10 million?
But hold on. She talked for like 3 minutes. That's good.
What do you mean that's good?
I mean, that's enough.
That's too much.
No, it's plenty. It's perfect.
$10 million.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal, the taxpayers' money. I mean, it's a good deal. All these people that are like donating money to the Democratic Party, and they're
It went
$20
to
million in
Beyonce.
debt.
You
Here's the crazy thing:
mutants.
they're $20 million. They spent $1 billion. They're $20 million in debt, and Trump offered to pay their debt.
And that's what the Democrats just don't seem to understand. The era of celebrity endorsements working is officially over, just like the power of the mainstream media to formulate grand political narratives is finally over, and yet they keep insisting on running by the same failed playbook. Remember when they told us a Taylor Swift endorsement could actually create a political dent? Well, she did this time, and she just made herself the greatest example that the age of the celebrity is truly over, especially if they think their star power translates to the world of politics. Not just that, think about what the taxpayer or the genuinely enthusiastic Democrat campaign donor might be thinking right now, that their hard-earned money they gave away to a party promising to make America better eventually went to the already rich celebrities to put on crass performances at political rallies. If I saw my money being spent recklessly like this by a party only to lose catastrophically, I wouldn't want to donate to them next time either, no matter what party it was. And that's a public realization that's dangerous for any political movement. Plus, imagine if the Democratic campaign is so bad with money during a campaign to have burned through $1 billion. How disastrous they'd be with public money after getting into office, keeping in mind Kamala only ran for about 2-3 months. But now that the party lost, there's still time for some deep introspection, and that's exactly what even Megyn Kelly wanted the Democrats to understand sooner or later.
Kamala Harris in the news this week for, among other reasons, having run her billion-dollar campaign down to the studs when it comes to her cash. She's reportedly $20 million in debt. We told you the story the other day. Well, now the reports are that she blew the vast majority of that last $20 million on stars. Now, so far, we've only had one star deny receiving a direct payment, and that person is Oprah Winfrey. The reporting is, and we've seen the verification via various publications, that Harpo Productions, her production company, was paid $1 million for that farce of a town hall that Oprah put on. What a joke. So Oprah's production company got $1 million to put that thing on.
Now, whether it be a star performance at a rally or an appearance on a show like Oprah or Call Her Daddy, there's something that the Democrat media campaign failed to understand. It's that stars or podcast hosts in this situation are involved in an even exchange with the presidential candidate. There should be no need to make payments on either side. When Donald Trump made an appearance on Joe Rogan, who is the benefiting party and who could demand to be paid? Joe for giving Trump his platform, or Trump for giving Joe Rogan the time out of the campaign? The answer is neither, which is why there was no monetary exchange, and the two just had a genuine 3-hour conversation that raked up 50 million views that admittedly Joe did make money on, but he wasn't paid off. There's just no telling when the Democrats would understand this key truth about new media, but it's certainly something they better keep in mind as they search for the next face of their political party before 2028. But let me know what you think about this entire news story floating around about alleged paid celebrity endorsements, and share this across your social media to get the word out. Now that the election is over, there's many more strands of the campaign becoming undone, revealing things we haven't known before.